80% limit.
People also making 80% of $72,000 a year are considered on this list low income. Again, if you're making 80% of $72,000 a year, you're considered low income.
All right, 80%, 2020. One person household, this is under low income, $40,450. Two person, $46,200. Three person, $52,000. A four person low income household is $57,750. Five person household, $62,400. Six person, $67,000. Seven person household, $71,600. And an eight person household with a low income, which is 80% of the limit, is $76,250.
So again, as we were saying yesterday, you'll be surprised when you hear low income or very low income, you'll be surprised who they're really talking about. Because again, in the state of Georgia, if you're not making over $72,000 a year, you're considered low income. If you're not making $72,000 a year for the state of Georgia, guess what? You qualify for every program that we're going to talk about here today. Again, if you do not make over $72,000 a year, you qualify for every program that we're going to talk about this evening. And that's to give you a better idea on how these programs work. It's not based on what you look like. It's not based on how old you are, who you're related to. It's based on the median income of the area that you live in. None of that. That's why I say if you look at the list across the United States, there's some states where you can make up to $140,000 annually. But guess what? Because of the cost of living, you're considered low income. So a lot of times when you hear this word, they don't put a negative image in it. So when you hear low income, you're thinking raggedy, ghetto, dilapidated. Really, low income means everyday hard-working men and women that you see constantly. That's low income. Very low income are the ones that's up under that. So again, your doctors, your teachers, a lot of your lawyers, professional workers are considered low income. Okay? And so now moving forward by knowing this information by a show of hands, how many people off of that number alone qualify right now? So now you have part of the room right now that can leave with this information and fill it out as we go through. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about a little bit is HUD Section 3. So since we know that the people that automatically qualify for it, this is something you can do now. And for those who make over $72,000 a year, there's also programs that you can still use as well, so you're not locked out. So starting with HUD Section 3. Basically, Gabrielle, if you can you pull up the HUD information? Give her a minute, or watch you pull it up on the screen. Mic check? All right, that's better. All right, sorry about that. Basically now we're going to go through the HUD Section 3. Since we know the income level for it, and this income level will go towards HUD, USDA, and any other program that you can find that's ran by the state or the federal government. And basically, a little bit more history on HUD Section 3. Its original name is called PIH. There's no such thing as a HUD code. Again, PIH, Public Indian Housing. This is what this program is called. If you go to the website of HUD and you look in their About section, it will tell you in black and white. It's considered Public Indian Housing. There's no such thing as a HUD code. If you were to deal with a HUD representative, they couldn't show you a HUD code, but they can show you a Public Indian Housing Code. Now ask yourself, why is this important? There's a program that's designed for us, and it's called Public Indian Housing. So if it's designed for you, and it's called Public Indian Housing, what is that telling you about you? Again, if it's designed for you, it's called Public Indian Housing, what is that telling you about you? This is a program that has been designed ever since 1964 and expanded on. It ended with 1968 in the Fair Housing Act that Dr. Martin Luther King marched for. And if you look up under that act, you'll realize it's called public Indian housing. So ask yourself, why was Dr. King marching for Indians? Why was the same low-income people that you've seen in the line standing beside him fighting for housing, marching for Indians? Simple answer, because they're Indians. And we have to remember this. And a lot of people tell you, don't cling on to that name. But the majority of all programs that were left for you, guess how they're identified? Indian. Okay, she got it up on the screen. You can scroll down to it so they can see the informational part of it. Again, HUD Section 3 is a program that's designed for us so we can be as residents or business owners to finance our own communities by using government funds. A simple way how it would work is this. Someone who lives in the area where you qualify for, you might have a business. You can go through HUD Section 3, register your business as a HUD registered business, allowing you to receive benefits for servicing a particular neighborhood. Then you can turn around and hire your employees from the same neighborhood, getting you a double benefit and them getting a benefit as well. Through HUD Section 3, you have the ability to take on full housing projects with no construction experience needed. Again, no construction experience needed. No subcontractor's license. You don't have to even know how to use a hammer and a nail. All it allows you to do is to become the contractors for reconstructing your community. Then it allows you to give out the contracts to people to come in and do the work for you. So again, these are programs to where you might live in a neighborhood, to where you might see a housing project that's just sitting there. But through HUD Section 3, you can get the finances as a community, get the property as a community, turn around, rebuild it for housing for the community, and it costs no one out the community a dime out of their pocket. Yes. If you use HUD Section 3, it does not mean you can't use none of the other programs. Because what you will learn this evening, you can tie every program in multiple times. It's the same thing that you see a lot of these other business districts. They'll start their business. We grew up watching them giving their children allowances, not realizing what that really tied into. The reason why they were getting allowances, if you look at the sheets, their children was put down as employees for the family business. Again, by them giving their children an allowance every week, having them down as employees, they got an extra credit for paying their children just to do chores that they were doing normally. Now ask yourself what happened when we do this for ourselves. And again, this program is called HUD Section 3. It costs you nothing. To use the program, it costs you nothing. To sign up for the program, absolutely nothing. Real quick before we move on, is there any HUD Section 3 questions real quick? Yes. There's no age restrictions. There's no age restrictions on it. Once they hit the age of 8, they can be employees in a family business. Once your children are the age of 8, did you know that you can get these same federal funds and grants for your children? The same money that you see people getting that you can get for your children the moment they turn 8. And the benefit about it is they're forgivable loans. You never pay them back. Some of them, if you design it for the right need in your community, it's tax-free and you never pay it back. Any more questions on HUD Section 3?
Yeah.
Yes. Or how much money is allocated? Well, basically, the way the HUD funds work is every year there's millions and it's added on to it. And the way they award the money is based on the project. There is no limit. There's no such thing as HUD Section 3 funds ever running out. You never had that problem. It comes directly from the federal government. It won't run out. Yes. Yes, you can use HUD Section Street to rebuild a whole town. I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of these areas that you see being rebuilt is HUD Section 3. Your NFL use HUD Section 3. How many people in the room know that the NFL owns housing authorities? How many? The NFL owns housing authorities. Any place you see the NFL go in our neighborhood and set up a football camp is because they have a housing authority there. You don't know it's the NFL's, but if you look at the paperwork, it belongs to the NFL, again. NBA has housing authorities in our neighborhood. All of us in this room together can leave here with our own housing authority this evening, if that's what we chose to do. Anyone can start a housing authority. Question from the back?
All right, y'all. So if you want to see the rest, you can go to
Earned income limits-
nograndmakillers.com
No, the income
to
limits
get the
are based
live
on the family
stream.
median.
It's going to be
let's
on
say
demand, so if you miss
you're a
anything, you
businessman
can come back and watch it
and
later.
your company income
Right?
does not
So,
affect you.
well, not-
No, it would not block you out
No,
the
it
program.
does.
Because if it did, you wouldn't have people like Donald Trump building their fortune